Are you ready for some football? We got McLovein back in his
fantasy Monday night party.
You got fantasy football with McLovein, week number 2. Before we go into the NFL, let's talk about college football. You went 0 for 3 on your picks last week. I think one of the teams ended up winning. Michigan won, but they didn't cover what you said they were going to cover.
Michigan State was up 31-21. Had the game locked in. Oregon came through and had a couple fourth down conversions, and we lost. Okay. Now, as you guys know, as a professional, which I am, Larry Bird, my favorite player of all time, he's missed 3 shots in a row. So it does happen. Okay? You guys just need to follow my plan. You'll make money. Okay?
All right. What do you got for us for this week for college football?
So, I got 5 picks for you guys. Okay? Extensive research. I'm not going to fucking lose this time. Okay? First game. Clemson is playing Louisville. We're taking Clemson -6. Louisville's 0-2 this year. Taking Clemson. Next game, Kentucky, plus the 4.5 against Florida. Kentucky had a big win over South Carolina. Florida struggled with East Carolina, okay? Georgia Tech, we're taking +3, okay? Notre Dame lost their quarterback, so we're taking Georgia Tech +3. We're taking Western Kentucky +3 against Indiana. And Ole Miss plus the 8.5 against Alabama.
So those are your picks. What is your email again? Let's get this right. It is McLovein with an E.
Yep.
So McLovein
73323
at mail.com.
At mail.com.
All right. So that is the college football.
So I'll just do one rundown.
Yep.
Clemson -6. Kentucky plus the 4.5, Georgia Tech plus the 3, Western Kentucky plus the 3, and Ole Miss plus the 8.5.
So there you go. Those are your college football picks of the week. Let's get into NFL news from week 1. Ryan Mallett took over for an ineffective Brian Hoyer game 1 for the Texans against the Chiefs, and now supposedly he is being named starter for week 2. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are this, okay? Working in the NFL for 7 years, this is how it works, okay? When you have a quarterback competition throughout the preseason, and you tell one of those guys, one of you will be the starter, the other one will be a backup, all right? You cannot bench your starter for the 4th quarter. You just can't do it. There's no logic behind it. What you're saying to the quarterbacks is, yes, you're our starter, but you always have to be looking behind your back, okay? So, Hoyer, Mallett, who the fuck knows? They're both below average quarterbacks, so it doesn't fucking matter. But, with all that being said, if you're Brian Hoyer, and you're the starter, and you were told you were the starter, and then start of the 4th quarter, okay, we're going to put the backup in. What does that say to your team? What does that say to your fan base? What does that say to your ownership? Okay, what does that say to everybody? I have no confidence in my starter. I shouldn't even made him the starter, and now we are where we are.
Yeah, I think Ryan Mallett, both of them are, don't forget, both of them were drafted by New England. Both of them were backups to Brady. I always thought that Mallett had a better arm than Hoyer.
He does, no question.
Yeah, very strong arm. The problem is this. And you work for the NFL, so you know the drill. You were a scout. So the deal is this. I believe that all the quarterbacks after Brady who have been behind Brady have struggled, with the exception of Castle, but even then he struggled.
He's terrible.
So why? So because they don't play. They're on the bench for 7-8 years, and then when they finally have a shot to play, they're horrible. And you can only be a practice time player so much. You can only shadow so much.
Yeah.
So, I think that they're just doomed anyway.
Well, and then that raises a question about Garoppolo. If God forbid Brady was suspended for 4 games, I wasn't confident as a Patriot fan to go into battle with Garoppolo, So they always draft a quarterback, no matter what. They'll pick someone up because they think they have the necessary tools with McDaniels, who's very good, Brady, who's another coach, to teach these guys, God forbid they have to be put in the game, just the way like Brady got his job. Now, the difference between Brady and all these other quarterbacks is Brady's the best quarterback of all time. He's a god. He's what he's done in the free agent era, you can say Joe Montana, okay, fine, But Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the NFL. And no matter who they draft, it's never going to be Tom Brady. So these guys get their shot. Hoyer was okay with Cleveland, Mallett is a big kid, 6'5", 6'6". He's got a cannon for an arm. But he's fucking stupid. You need to understand, you need to read the defense, keep your eyes at the level, and not throw it to the other team. So he still hasn't figured that part out where if he throws it to the other team, they get the ball. So
next up, Terrell Suggs tore his ACL, done for the year. What are your thoughts on that?
Best thing that ever could have happened in this world. Best thing. I fucking hate Terrell Suggs. He's a punk. All he does is whine and bitch and moan and cry and do all this. Hell of a player, hell of a talent, just needs a muzzle, okay? Needs to shut the fuck up. And now at least we don't have to hear him now for the next 6-7 months because too bad. That's football. That's life. You signed up. You tore your ACL or you tore your calf. Done deal.
Well, the Ravens, in response to that loss, signed Jason Babin to a 1-year deal. What are your thoughts on Jason Babin?
Jason Babin is he's a tweener. He can, in the 3-4 defense. So you have your 3 down linemen, okay? Your nose tackle on every play is going to be taken on two offensive players. Your other 2 guys, your other defensive tackles on either side are going to be playing 2 different guys. What that allows you to do with your 4 linebackers is you have two linebackers coming off the edge. They're called dogs, a dog and a cat. Okay? The cat is a better guy in coverage than the dog. The dog is strictly your rushing linebacker or a 4th down lineman. That was Suggs. Get to the quarterback. Wasn't as good as the other guy in coverage. But losing Suggs is huge. That's 10, 12, 15 sacks a year. He was just Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago. So Babin's good. I mean, you can't replace Suggs. There's nobody on the street right now. And if someone's on the street week 1, it means that it's like going to the overpicked aisle and trying to still get something you want a large and you're still looking at XXX. Stuff that nobody wants is what you have to choose from. So is he going to fill in? I don't know. He won't be the same player. He's a nice player, but not a great player.
So Des Bryant broke his foot. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I recently heard today it's 6 to 10.
Oh, so, wow.
The thing is with Des Bryant, he's a phenomenal athlete. Keeps himself in phenomenal shape. Definitely an asshole. No one will debate that. But it's a broken bone, okay? It needs time to heal. And if they want to rush him back, then he won't be as good as he could be. So they're going to take, since it's so early in the season, they're going to let Des take whatever time he needs. Knowing Des, he's going to come back sooner than what he should do because he's very impatient, okay? All these NFL players are very, very, very impatient, okay? They cannot sit and watch. They want to get out there and play regardless if they, have a broken foot or not. So it's going to be big to not only start his you got the surgery done and to get the rehab going, but to rush, Dallas is going to want to rush him back as soon as possible because he's a top 3 receiver in the NFL. So it's a huge loss for Dallas, but they can still make plays, with what they have, and that's what they're going to have to do. So.
In response to him being gone, the Cowboys traded to get Bryce Butler from the Raiders for a conditional round pick in 2016. What are your thoughts on the trade?
It's just a body to me. I mean, the guy's not going to do anything. He might play. I think it's just more to have those set number of receivers. God forbid someone gets hurt during the game, then you can throw this guy in. Don't know much about him. I assume that he can catch footballs, and that's the reason that they signed him. But like I said, Oakland was probably just going to take a bag of balls for him. You know, they gave him a draft pick, which probably going to be a 6th or 7th pick. So
sixth round
pick. Yeah.
I think it's a 6th pick. I didn't write it down. It's a conditional round pick in 2016. It doesn't say what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a piece of shit pick.
Yeah.
It's duty.
Yeah. But they got another receiver, I guess, you know, and Romo, you know, this guy, I'd be shocked, you know, if this guy does anything.
All right, Eli Manning, for those of you who saw the Giants-Cowboys game, I definitely did. The guy who is in charge of football at our work definitely did. So apparently he told Rashad Jennings not to score on 2 consecutive run plays in that fourth quarter. And we only found out about that because Rashad Jennings told the media and told the whole world that Eli Manning told him not to do that. Do you agree with what Rashad Jennings did?
No. The thing is players, no matter what questions are asked by the media, you have to answer correctly. You cannot. The locker room is a sacred place. That's a sacred place for these athletes. This is the team. You don't ever, regardless if he said fumble on these next 2 plays, you don't ever come out and throw your quarterback under the bus, okay? Now, I don't know if Eli's confirmed this or denied this. When I went back and watched this about 10, 12 times. First of all, Tom Coughlin did a shitty, terrible job of managing the clock. There was no reason they should be throwing the ball at that point in time, especially on 4th down. Now, you're up by 3 points, okay? The last thing you want to do is not score anything. So they put the field goal up. Now, if they score a touchdown, they're up by 10. That still makes Dallas. So it doesn't. I don't see any way, shape, or form where he would say do not score, only to run down the clock. But if you score, you're still up 10 points. You know what I'm saying? So it's still going to take 2 scores just to tie. And the last play, he either should just ran the ball, got sacked, but that just gave Dallas another timeout. So I fault Tom Coughlin. If Eli Manning actually did this, which
he did do it. He did admit to it.
He admitted to it. That's either he didn't know what the score was. He
thought Dallas. Supposedly, he thought Dallas had one more timeout than they actually did.
Okay. Well, then shame on Eli, and he's then he fucked up. But regardless of whether Eli's telling Jennings that he's banging his wife or not to score, this should never come out in the media, ever. And you never see something like this in New England, ever. No one would throw Tom Brady under the bus like that. I don't care what he told him. You know, you chalk it up. You know, it's a loss. That's all you say to the media. You know, we should have played better. We could have played better. Not, oh, my quarterback told me that. That's fucking bullshit. Now it opens up to, now Eli doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust Eli. Coughlin's looking at him like, what are you guys, fucking stupid not to score? And then the media is going to be all over it, especially in New York. So it's a problem that they created that's going to go for, 3, 4, 5, because the New York media, all they want to do is have Jennings come out and say something else because he's that stupid that he said it in the first place.
Everson Griffin, I believe his name is.
Yep.
Everson Griffin was embarrassed by the showing against the 49ers last week. He guarantees a win over the Lions. What are your thoughts on his guarantee?
I think it's just like every other guarantee. It's horseshit. It doesn't mean anything. Now, Everson Griffin, I remember watching him, evaluating him when he was at USC. He's a decent talent. Everson Griffin has no right to be guaranteeing wins, especially on Minnesota, okay? A team that hasn't done shit in a while. He's got no business. I can tell you right now that everybody else in Detroit's locker room is like, this guy's he's a slapdick. Who cares what he thinks? He may play half the snaps. He's not Adrian Peterson. He's not the guy there. And yeah, I mean, I can guarantee you I'm gonna take a piss later. But am I definitely gonna take a piss? Probably. But if I guarantee it to you, you could care less, right? So all he's doing is just making a guarantee because he wants to be the man. It's all about me. It's the ego. When no one really gives a shit. So he can guarantee all he wants. That's fine. They're still going to be 10-6 at best, 9-7. If they play the same way they played against San Francisco, they're going to fucking lose. I mean, so guarantee, schmarantee, whatever you want to call it. All it is I can guarantee a box of shit. And it's the same thing.
Johnny Manziel is now the starter, most likely over Josh McCown. He took over from McCown in the second quarter of last week's game when McCown went out with a concussion. Threw a touchdown pass, but also threw apparently 3 interceptions as well. What are your thoughts on Johnny Football? Yeah, Johnny Midget Football.
Now, Johnny Football is his biggest fan is Johnny Football. So already at the beginning, we're starting off at the wrong. Humble waved goodbye to him probably when he was 2 or 3 years old. He's got no humility. Now Johnny Manziel, when he came in, coaches said, don't party, don't do anything, you can't do this if you want to be a successful quarterback. You have to take care of your body. What does he do? He does his own thing. He goes to rehab, okay? Now, I'm also in recovery. I just got a year sober yesterday, so I understand that from the disease point. I understand that, but I'm not in the spotlight, okay? Johnny Manziel's in the spotlight. Is he a good quarterback? Nah, maybe, but is he going to – the bottom line is he going to win you games? No. Who was the other? Josh McCown. And is he going to win you games? No. So, Johnny Football is all hype. He's tiny. What he got away with in college, he's not going to go away with the NFL. You ask guys like Donovan McNabb. You guys ask like Cam Newton. You ask guys that have tried to be running quarterbacks and they always end up being pocket passers, RG3, because they get the shit knocked out of them, and the last thing they want to do is go and do that again. So they all become pocket passers, and the college game, it doesn't translate well for Johnny Manziel, especially with Cleveland.
All right. Marshawn Lynch's mother says fire offensive coordinator Bevins, I think his name is. I forget his name. Darrell Bevins. Yep. Or Bevel. Darrell Bevel.
Yeah.
Bevel. He is the worst offensive coordinator ever.
Well, he's not the worst the worst offensive coordinator ever was this guy named Jim Hostler, who was the offensive coordinator when the 49ers lost Norv Turner late in September, late in August, and he's a worse offensive coordinator. First of all, Darrell Bevel now has won a Super Bowl, okay? He's been to championship games. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, okay? Marshawn Lynch's mother should just keep her mouth shut and don't say anything. Obviously, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. She's not smart like her son is not smart, okay? She's got no business. It's something that's not even going to be talked about. All it is news for us to talk about, or the media. Marshawn Lynch's mother should just shut her mouth, okay, and reap the benefits of what her son. And both of them are not smart at all.
And the last newsworthy topic from last week: Deshaun Jackson is out 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. How does that cripple Washington's offense?
Well, Washington's offense was crippled to begin with, and to rely on a guy like Deshaun Jackson, this guy is a clown. He's an absolute clown. I met him a couple times when he was coming out of Cal. Went to Philly. He's a deep threat. You can never take away his talent. He's fast as fuck. But he's just an idiot. And he pulls his hamstring. Washington, like I said a couple weeks ago, they're a nightmare. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to be, get ready for another 4-12, 3-30. They're not going to beat anybody this year. And even with Deshaun Jackson, and even if he's not, and he's the type of guy that's not going to be rushing to come back. His competitive nature is not where it needs to be. So why even bother coming back when you can just get paid and
touch yourself. All right, let's go into transactions from last week, Monday, September 14th, a couple days ago. Redskins released place kicker Kai Forbath and linebacker Houston Bates, and they signed place kicker Dustin Hopkins and defensive end Frank Kurse. Any noteworthy people there? Well,
getting rid of your kicker after week 1, once again, you go through the whole camp. You have them the whole camp. This is what we're doing. Then you just get rid of them after week 1, which shows poor management. Actually, one of my
it's a place kicker, not the PK, that's place kicker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not your kicker, is it?
I'm sorry. Field goal kicker, place kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not your punter.
Yeah.
It's your kicker.
Yeah. Oh, place kicker is field goal guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Miami Dolphins released running back, kick returner LaMike James.
LaMichael James.
Well, it says LaMike here on the thing.
Oh, okay.
LaMike James, could be LaMichael James, I don't know. It says LaMike James. Signed tight end Jake Stoneburner from the practice squad. They re-signed center guard Jocks McClendon, and they waived center Sam Brenner and running back Jonas Gray.
Well, out of that crew, Jonas Gray is the only thing that rings a bell. Now, Jonas Gray, okay, you want to talk about rags to riches or riches to rags. This guy runs for 250 yards against Indianapolis with the Patriots on Sunday Night Football, okay? He gets a cover of Sports Illustrated. He misses the meeting on Friday morning. He has never seen it. He got a couple carries. Once he missed that meeting, Belichick and then all he's gone down is now from team to team to team. He had his shot, and now he's on the street. He's as good as myself and Andy. We're both not playing this week, so we can be just with Jonas Gray.
Detroit Lions released wide receiver Greg Salas from reserve injured.
Don't know much about him.
Okay.
I mean, anyone that's getting released in the first week, I mean, obviously they weren't in their long-term plans anyway, So maybe that was contractual reasons or something like that, or they think that they threw him on IR and then they got rid of him.
They released him from that list.
Yeah, so they kept him on IR because in his contract it probably said that if he's on IR you can't cut a guy, just like the Boston baseball, with their manager. You can't fire him because he has cancer. You got to wait for him to be back to normal and then you can release him. So that's kind of what happened with that one.
Okay, Cowboys waived offensive tackle Jordan Mills. Relevant?
No.
Okay. Browns signed DL Kelsey Quarles to the practice squad. Irrelevant?
Relevant.
Bears signed linebacker Sam Acho, placed DL Cornelius Washington on injured reserve. Relevant.
Relevant.
All right, Tuesday the 15th, Washington signed safety Duke Iheanacho placed safety Duke Iheanacho on injured reserve. Released fullback Ray Agnew from the practice squad. Signed cornerback Will Blackman. Signed cornerback Deshaun Phillips to the practice squad.
Will Blackman, good player. He from Rhode Island, went to Hendricken in Rhode Island, where I'm from. Was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Had a hell, and he's just completely fallen off the face of the earth. So notably, that's the only guy that safety was pretty good. That went down IR. That's going to hurt them.
Duke Iheanacho.
Yeah.
Okay. Oakland waived tight end Gabe Holmes, played safety Nate Allen on injured reserve designated for return, signed safety Taylor Mays and defensive lineman C.J. Wilson.
Taylor Mays, okay? I know Taylor pretty well. He's a space cadet, okay? This guy, when he was a sophomore at USC, he was a top 5 pick, okay? Sophomore year at USC, if he was eligible to come, he would have been a top 5 pick, okay? He stayed 4 years. The Niners drafted him in the second round. They traded him halfway through the year because he's terrible. Okay, he doesn't listen. He just does his own thing. Okay, then he went to Cincinnati. Cincinnati had him for a half year. They got rid of him. And now he's just getting picked up off waivers. Anyone getting picked up off of waivers is just like it's shopping in the overpicked aisle. Everyone's overpicked. Right now, a lot of, he maybe he can do something, maybe not, but there's a reason why they're on the street, and 32 teams don't want him. But if you need to replace, I guess he still has talent.
Jets waived guard O'Day Abushi. Irrelevant. Patriots released wide receiver Chris Harper. As a rookie, relevant. Green Bay placed linebacker Sam Barrington on injured reserve, activated defensive end Detone Jones from exempt status. Okay. Dallas waived offensive tackle Darian Weems, released safety Tim Scott from the practice squad, signed offensive tackle Charles Brown.
Charles Brown is he's not bad, but he's not going to see the field.
Cleveland signed quarterback Matt Blanchard to the practice squad, released offensive lineman Eric Ladson from the practice squad. Irrelevant.
Nothing.
Bears waived quarterback David Fales. Okay. Buffalo released running back Bryce Brown. Atlanta signed offensive tackle Jake Long, waived safety Charles Godfrey.
Jake Long, if you can remember, was the number 1 overall pick. Then he played down in Miami, was a Pro Bowler. This guy, now, they picked him up because nobody trusts his body right now. Like he could fall apart at any second. Top notch talent, but he's got a lot of issues.
And then today, the 16th, Wednesday, Washington, signed linebacker Houston Bates to the practice squad. Tampa Bay. His reactions are priceless. Tampa Bay, signed linebacker Ori Lemon. Signed cornerback Isaiah Frey, defensive tackle Derek Lott, and linebacker Julian Stanford to the practice squad.
Nothing.
Okay. Jets, released defensive lineman Kevin Vickerson from injured reserve.
He's a pretty good. He'll get picked up. He's a good player. No, I guess he was on IR, so he's probably still got some other problems. Just like the last case, they have to let the IR run out. So once they're healthy, then they can get rid of them.
Patriots, re-signed linebacker Dakota Watson, signed linebacker Eric Martin to the practice squad, released linebacker Alex Singleton and defensive lineman Jimmy Staten from the practice squad.
Nothing.
And the last transaction, as of now, Bears signed defensive end LeVar Edwards. Irrelevant.
Relevant.
All right, we're done with the transactions. Let's get on to last week. And how did McLovein do? Well, if you remember, he had New England winning by 10. He was correct. The spread was 6.5. But so he did cover the spread there. He went 1-0 with that pick. The Redskins. I as well say the Red Sox. The Patriots won by 7.
Yeah.
Okay, you guessed that they were going to win by a touchdown and a field goal, but they won by 7. So he covered the spread by 0.5 point. All right, next game, Green Bay. He had winning by 8. He had Green Bay winning. They ended up winning by 8.
Yep.
The spread was 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
So he was 2-0 now. McLoveин's 2-0. Next we go to the Jets game. The Jets were favored by 3.5. He was correct. They ended up winning by 21. So he's 3-0 now. His first loss, however, was Seattle. He did make some valid points, though. He said St. Louis is very, very, very good at home, especially against division opponents. And St. Louis ended up winning in overtime in that game. So he falls to 3-1 because he did pick Seattle with the points. Kansas City, Houston, he won that game. He said Kansas City was going to win. The line was, 3.5, I think?
Yeah.
And they ended up winning by 7. So he's 4-2 there. Miami against Washington.
I had that one, too.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, they were minus 4.
Wait a minute. What the hell did I do here? Something isn't right. Oh, yeah, to make you... Wait a minute now. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. Oh, no. Kansas City, Houston. You were down on that one, 3-2. All right, so you're 3-2. Now we go to Miami, Washington. You had Miami winning that one, so you're 4-2 at this point. Now you hit a double whammy, even though you only got one loss for this. You hit a double whammy. Indianapolis and Buffalo. You picked the over for 45. They ended up only scoring 41 combined.
Yeah.
So you lost that. But the real loss was you had Indy up 1.5 on Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo ended up winning by 13.
Buffalo played. I mean, you got to give it to Rex Ryan. I mean, now with all due respect, he inherited a top 5 defense, and he's a defensive coach. Now, I didn't expect Indy to come out flat like this. I didn't. I thought they'd at least score points, win or lose with the over. 41 is, it's close, but no one gives a shit, and you didn't win. So, that was probably one of the biggest surprises of the week, that Buffalo played so well against the Colts. So
right now, Pat McLovein, you're at 4-3. Now we go to Jacksonville and. Who'd they play? Carolina. You lost that one. You picked Jacksonville to win. So you're 4-4.
Yeah.
San Diego, you had correct over Detroit.
Yep.
You had them at plus 2.5. They ended up winning by 5. They came back in that one.
You're down 21-3.
Yep. So they're 5-4. Arizona, you're 6-4 now. You had them over the Saints. 7.5. They ended up winning by 12.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, you lost on that one. Or no, you won on that one.
Tennessee.
You took Tennessee to make you 7-4 at that point. Then you have Baltimore, Denver. You had Baltimore in that one that fell you to 7-5. Denver ended up winning by 6. Cincinnati over Oakland. You had that. Cincinnati 3.5. They ended up winning by 20. So you're 8-5 at this point. Dallas against the Giants. You had that. You had the Dallas winning. You lost that.
And that was one of my my locks, which
was a lock.
So that was a game where, you know, Giants paid a lot better than I thought they would, you know, and no one had the Giants +6. They should have taken them. You know, I was wrong.
So that dropped you to 8-7 at that, or 8-6 at that point. Philly against Atlanta. Philly was favored by 3.5 on the road.
Yep.
Atlanta ended up winning by 2. Philly brought you to 8-7. And then Minnesota and San Fran. You had San Fran. They ended up winning by 17. That put you to 9-7. Let me just shut off this alarm.
Yeah. So yeah, sure, 9-7, which, you know, against the spread is, you know, is okay in my mind. You know, I should be at least 10-6 every week. For the first week, realistically speaking, it was a decent job. Now, my clients, you know, won money. I went 4-2 in my, you know, my premium players club. Okay, that was just a spread for it. But the thing is, with football, it's only going to get better. And I'm only, you know, and I'm not sitting here as a tout. As someone would, do you remember the guy that said it was a tout?
I can tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who it is right here.
A tout. I'm not. If a tout means banging your mom and your sister at the same time, then I'm a tout all day long. Okay. The last thing I want to do is give you guys bad information, and I'm not here to talk about myself. What the definition of a tout is, I'm here to help you guys. And like I said, free. I'm gonna hook you guys up with picks. FanDuel. I hooked some guy took it upon himself to email me and ask me for my FanDuel, and I gave him a FanDuel roster that it was a winner. So guys, you know, just all you have to do is ask. That's it. Send me an email. Send me an email. I'll hook you up with these spreads. Okay. We're gonna make money. That's the bottom line. If you don't want to make money, if you think I'm here just talking about myself, fine. I make plenty of money, and I'm making plenty of money for people around the country. So, it's up to you.
The guy who commented on that, money in the bank.
Money in the bank, okay? Money in the bank. If you want more money in the bank, first of all, you can shut your fucking mouth, okay, and tell your sister to keep her legs closed. But if you want to jump on board, money in the bank, we can go from there.
James LeBlanc, thanks for the response, McLovein. As much as I like Nelson Aguilar, I had to drop him to grab John Brown. I play with amateurs as he was on the waivers.
Yeah, I told him to do it, yeah.
Yeah,
that's one of my fantasy.
Okay, so now last week we did a hold on a second here. Last week we did a what do you call it? A contest. Okay, try to beat McLovein. And I said to everyone, I said, okay, message me your picks on that video, okay? And at the end of the season, whoever ends up winning gets $100 if they beat McLovein. We're going to do a season-long event. Then I said if more than one person enters, there's going to be a first, second, and third place. 300 for first, second, for 200 for second, 100 for third. Well, only one person entered. Steve Goldman. Okay.
Steve, good job, buddy.
So, Steve Goldman, you are officially the only person beating McLovein for that. I'm going to raise the stakes for you, Steve Goldman, because you're the only one that entered. Steve Goldman, if you end up beating McLovein, you're getting $300, okay, right off the bat. Now, for those of you who are lazy or had other stuff to do, and you forgot to do it, whatever the case is, this is it. This is your last warning. On this video, from this week on, Steve Goldman, you're in your own thingamajig. You're getting $300, only you, if you beat McLovein at the end of the year. But you have to remember, you have to put in your picks every week on this video. You cannot miss a game. Okay, you can't put in your, by the way, also you can't put in your picks just for Thursday's game and then decide on Saturday to do the other ones. No, it has to be all done today or before kickoff on Thursday on this video. Okay, that's how that's going to work. So let's quickly go over how everybody did. All three of us last week went 10-6, by the way.
Which is very good. Which is very good. Now, with what's going on here, all it is you know, we're offering you. All we're doing here with the picks is we're giving you guys an opportunity, okay, to make your picks and win money. It's not rocket science, okay. Just send your picks in. You know, if you beat myself and you know you get money. If you beat Andy, you know, we'll go from there. But Steve, good job. You're the only one. That's why we're going to give you $300, okay? Now, you still have to beat me, which is going to be, a tough task. All that being said, I watched the film, okay, guys? And week one's tough, but I need to do a better job. It was unacceptable, and none of you asked me for any of my picks, so if you had, you would have won money in the NFL. College was a different game. I did not give you my 3 best picks, and I apologize for that, but none of you used them, so, no one wins, okay? I lose. That's fine. And look, I take my money that I earn, and I help out the people underneath me. I give them the picks every day. Major League Baseball's killing it right now. I'm doing well in that. And I'm only going to do better in the NFL. Like I said, if you guys, free week with me, okay? You just send me an email. It's not that hard. McLovein 73323 McLovin 73323, and I'll hook you up with the picks. It's not that hard. I can give you daily picks if you want, and then you guys can decide for yourself whether you want to jump on board or if you just want to continue just to comment on my wins and my losses. Okay, if that's all you want to do, then that's fine. We love the comments. I'll talk about all the comments when you're on here, but don't be that person who can only says, you're 0 for 3, you're a tout, blah, 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 the whole thing. But then when I do have a good week and I have consecutive weeks after weeks after weeks, instead of sitting here and say, I told you so, you guys just have to say, you know what? He did a good job. People these days, they only want to focus on the negative. And from a lot of comments, it looks like a lot of people are negative, but there's also a lot of positive people. There was that one guy who reached out to me, emailed me, says I need a FanDuel lineup for this weekend. I gave him a FanDuel lineup and we won. Okay, so all I'm trying to do here is help you guys. Okay, this is big time. The more viewers we have, the more the more money people can make. We're doing. All you have to do is send Andy your picks. It's not that hard. And you can win $100, $200, $300, okay? We're going to have other special promotions going out throughout the year. And mainly is I want to help you guys, who the loyal viewers that watch our show and that love football, that love fantasy football, that love, the spreads or just the picks straight up. Either way, it's fun. You guys work hard. Take that money and invest it in me, and we'll get you going, and we'll get you winning a lot of money, okay? Because bottom line, at the end of the day, you want to have a nicer car, you want to have a nicer house, you want to bang harder broads, and that's all possible.
All right, let's go into this week's picks. Let me see what you got there. We're going to do spreads first, okay, and then we're just going to do pick 'em. So let me quickly recap. Email McLovein for fantasy football questions that you have. We're going to read them on the show every week.
Yep.
Email them for fantasy football questions. We will read them on the show every week, starting with next week. Email him. What's your email address one more time?
McLovein 73323 at mail.com.
And that's McLovein with an E, L-O-V-E-I-N. Also, comment on this video and this video only with your picks every week. Steve Goldman, you're in a league by yourself with us 3, okay? And then for everybody starting with this coming week, the picks have to be in for every game, every Thursday night before kickoff for all the games for that week. And if you miss a week, you're disqualified. We'll have a separate contest for you guys, okay? Maybe we'll have best record of the week wins a gift card to your favorite restaurant or something like that.
Like I was saying, guys, we're here to help. We're here to hook you up. You guys, it's free. What are we charging you? Nothing. Just play the game and win. Okay?
It's that easy.
Yeah.
All right. Kansas City, Thursday night game. Kansas City is home. They are favored by 3, correct, over Denver?
Yeah, so I'm taking Kansas City here. First of all, I've been to Arrowhead many times, okay? It's a tough place to play. It's loud in there, okay? With a division opponent against Denver, a team that's always been at the top, Denver looked really bad. I think their best times are behind them. I think Peyton Manning is washed up. I don't see anything from him that I wasn't surprised in how poorly he played. But Kansas City is going to win that game, and they're going to cover the spread -3. So take Kansas City Chiefs -3.
Okay, next, Houston is Carolina's favored by 3 points at home over Houston, but you're taking Houston to cover the 3.
I'm taking Houston to cover. I still don't think Carolina has a good football team. I think Houston still has a good enough defense to get the job done. They're going to want, knowing Bill O'Brien, they're going to come out gunning. I'm putting, my eggs in the Houston basket just because they played so poorly last time. And it was not the week they want to start it off, the way they did. They were terrible. They were dog shit. They couldn't do anything right. They got smoked at home in a home opener. So I'm hoping that fire will fuel them, and they'll go into Carolina and cover the spread.
Okay. Next we have New Orleans at home, favored by 10 points over Tampa. Who are you picking?
New Orleans. They're going to be at home, hoping all the Who Dat Nation, whatever the fuck that means, but. I think they're going to wipe the floor with Tampa Bay. This is going to be a blowout. Tampa has probably one of the worst offensive lines I've seen. They have a rookie quarterback. It's going to be a tough atmosphere. New Orleans is going to, mop the floor with them. They're going to kick the shit out of them. They're going to piss all over them.
All right, next up we got Pittsburgh and San Francisco. Pittsburgh's the home team. They're favored by 5.5 over San Francisco. Who are you picking?
I'm taking San Francisco, okay, plus the 5.5.
Okay.
Okay. I'm taking Pittsburgh to win the game.
Okay, so let's go with San Francisco. Let's do the revised thing. So this is just for the picks. If you're betting picks, if you're betting the spread, he's taking Pittsburgh's 5.5 favored over San Fran. McLoveин's taking San Francisco as the underdog, 5.5 to cover.
Exactly. Now, a couple different reasons. Jim Tomsula, the head coach of the 49ers, is a very, very dear friend of mine. He's from Pittsburgh, okay? If there's any guy that can get their team going against Pittsburgh, it's him. Pittsburgh still has their second wide receivers out, okay, for another 3 games with the suspension. Le'Veon Bell's out, okay? So Pittsburgh is, they're a good football team. They played extremely well overall against New England. New England's just a better team. I think San Francisco, they have that fuck you attitude. Everyone's counting them out. I think they're going to go in there, and I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll cover the 5.5 spread.
Okay, next up we have Minnesota at home against Detroit. Minnesota's favored by 3. Who do you have?
I took Detroit with the points. Detroit, they played a great first half. They folded in the second half. Granted, it was at San Diego week 1. Phillip Rivers is going to have a hell of a year. Keenan Allen and the whole shebang down there. Detroit still has the opportunity to score 40 points a game if they want to. I mean, it's all about protecting Stafford, letting him throw up the ball to Megatron. Golden Tate running down the seam. They have good running backs coming out of the backfield. I think Detroit's going to win this game. I think it's going to be close, but I take Detroit with the points.
Next up, we have Buffalo at home against New England. It's a pick'em.
So, this is a huge game, media is going to be all over this one, okay? Buffalo always plays New England tough. And whether they're in the basement or they're at top of the league, okay? Rex is going to want to, this is going to be Rex's, he's going to want this to be his outcoming party. He wants this to be, okay, now I got my defense that I like. I have a quarterback who played out of his mind in Tyrod Taylor. And they're going to want to take it to New England. Now, there's not a mentally tougher team in the NFL than New England. And they've been in a lot tougher atmosphere. It's not saying that this isn't going to be tough for them, but I think in a 4-quarter game, and with Tom Brady, I'm going to take Tom Brady over Tyrod Taylor, and that's why I'm going to choose New England.
All right, next we have the Bears against Arizona. The Bears are home against Arizona. Who do you have? Chicago's a 1.5 point. Arizona is favored by 1.5.
Yeah.
All right, so Chicago's at home against Arizona, and Arizona as the visiting team is favored by 1.5.
Yes, I took Arizona. Arizona is going to be a solid club. They got good defense. They made some crucial stops last week against New Orleans at home. The receiving core is deep, and if Carson stays healthy, sky's the limit for this team because they have a good enough defense to make the playoffs. They have a good enough defense to win the division. They have a good enough defense to, all that being said, that defense is irrelevant if Carson Palmer is not putting up points. So I'm going to ride Arizona as long as Carson Palmer is the quarterback because I think they're a better team than Chicago. I think Chicago, they got Forte. Cutler is a moody fuck. You don't know what he's doing. Jeffrey's still coming off the injury. Kevin White's hurt. So the defense is not the Bears defense that we know and love. Once again, it's a 4-quarter game. I think Arizona, wins, by 5 or 6.
All right, next up we have Cleveland at home against Tennessee. It's a pick'em.
Okay, this is probably the best, which I'm surprised that it's a pick'em game because Tennessee looked incredible last week. I mean, Marcus Mariota, and just insane on the road. And I don't think much is going to change against Cleveland. Cleveland is not a good football team. And that's one thing with death and taxes. Cleveland will never have a good football team. It's just a guarantee. So Tennessee is going to go in there. They're going to rock them, sock them, and, even with Manziel, it doesn't matter to me. Tennessee's on the rise with Mariota. My good friend Jason Michael is the offensive coordinator there, so he's doing great things there. Tennessee is going to win this game if it's just a pick 'em out. I would figure that Tennessee would be favored, but Tennessee all the way.
All right, next up, Cincinnati's at home against San Diego. Cincinnati's favored by 3.
This is a great game. This is 2 solid playoff caliber teams. Cincinnati coming off a lights out, against Oakland, who's a bad football team. I think Cincinnati, from top to bottom, with A.J. Green and Andy Dalton at home, will cover the spread. I think it will be a great game to watch. I think there will be a lot of points scored, but I think Cincinnati will cover the 3.
Washington is at home against St. Louis. St. Louis is favored as the visiting team by 3.5.
So St. Louis, like we talked about, is coming off a great win against Seattle at home, overtime. St. Louis is a better football team. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't even think the Redskins' home field even matters. The Redskins are what they are. Like we've talked about a million times, they're just a bad football team, and they're in shambles. And no one likes the quarterback. No one likes RG3, and Cousins is playing because everyone loves Cousins. But if you watch Cousins play, yes, he's a decent quarterback. Is he a guy that can win you playoff games? No. Is he a guy that can get to the playoffs? No. So St. Louis is going to just capitalize on that last week win, and they're going to go into Washington and cover the spread, 3.5.
All right, Giants are at home against Atlanta. Giants are favored by 2.5.
So I took Atlanta with the 2.5. Now Atlanta played very well. Okay, on Monday Night Football against Philly. Julio Jones is the next thing to unstoppable. This guy is an absolute animal. He went up against a top 10 corner in this league, and he caught everything. And this guy was on single cut. This guy is he is the best receiver in football. Okay, Julio Jones is the best receiver in football. Now they also have Roddy White and this guy named Hankerson, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Matt Ryan he's a little overrated, but he can get the ball. He can score points in a hurry. The running game is very young. I think Atlanta, they definitely win this game outright, and I'm definitely going to take the points with them. The Giants coming off a terrible loss. You know how Eli is. He's going to be sulking with his head down like this, And like I said, with all that, with the bicker back and forth between the running back and the quarterback, and Beckham, was a no-show. I think Atlanta's going to do, who has a whole different defense than they have in the past. They're just going to shut down Beckham and say, go with what you want to go with. We're going to shut down your best guy. And even if New York wanted to shut down Julio Jones, they couldn't because their secondary is terrible. So Atlanta wins this game. I'll take the 2.5 points because they're there, but Atlanta's going to win the game outright.
All right, next up we got Jacksonville against Miami. Jacksonville's home against Miami. Miami is favored by 6 as the visiting team.
So Miami's going to cover. Playing in Jacksonville is like another game. I mean, there'll probably be more Dolphins fans than there'll be Jaguars fans, you know. Miami, you know, had a great second half. I think Tannehill is only going to get better. They got the big running back. They got deep, you know, Landry, and they can throw the ball deep, and they can score points in a hurry. I think Jacksonville is very, very, very limited on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is pretty good, but I think in the end, like I said, in a 4-quarter game, Miami's going to win this game. I think they win by 7 points, 7 to 10 points. They cover the spread -6.
All right, next up we have Philly at home against Dallas. Philly is favored by 5.
I took Philly, okay. Sam Bradford looked like a good quarterback. He's going to be very good. Once again, health reasons, we can say with everybody, but with the 3-back with Sproles, and you have Matthews, and you have DeMarco Murray, it's going to be tough for Dallas to stop that. Dallas not playing with Dez Bryant is going to be a huge, huge factor. They got the guy Beasley, who's pretty good, but Philly's going to take advantage of Dallas, you know, them being hurt, and they're going to beat them. They're going to cover the spread by 5, and I think they run away late, you know, 2 touchdowns.
All right, Green Bay is at home on Sunday Night Football against Seattle, rematch last year's NFC Championship game.
It's going to be a great game.
Green Bay is favored by 3.5 at home.
I'm taking the Packers, and bottom line is Seattle's not as good as they were. You know, last year when they went to the Super Bowl, obviously they have a lot of injuries. They've had some defensive players that have left. Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers, and that's pretty much all I need to say. Aaron Rodgers is, you know, arguably the best quarterback in football. I still would take Brady, but maybe I'm whatever. But as long as they have Aaron Rodgers, and you can throw in myself and Andy as receivers, he's going to get us the ball, okay? So this whole thing with Jordy Nelson being out, he's going to get the ball to somebody, okay? They have Eddie Lacy in the backfield. Their defense is average, but Seattle is in a shambles. The way they lost that game, Pete Carroll just coached a terrible game at the end. Green Bay is going to cover the spread. They're going to win by at least a touchdown. They'll cover the spread against Seattle at home.
And then Monday Night Football, horrible game in my opinion. It's going to be one of the worst Monday Night Footballs probably this year, if not top 3. Indy's at home against the Jets. Indy's favored by 7.
I actually disagree. I think it's going to be a great game.
Okay.
I'm taking Indy to win the game, okay? But as far as the point spread, I'm taking the Jets plus a 7, okay? The Jets surprised me. I thought, you know, it was just going to be a shit show against Cleveland. They were just going to beat Cleveland just because Cleveland is Cleveland. But, I mean, Fitzpatrick looked great. The kid Ivory in the backfield looked great. Brandon Marshall had a great game. They got Decker, who's there. I think the Jets are going to play them tough. And I think the Jets are going to cover the spread. So the Jets plus 7.
All right, now we're going to go right into...
There's one more game.
Oh, there is?
Yep.
What time is this?
This is just a normal Sunday game.
Oh, a normal Sunday game. Why the hell did you write it over here?
Because there wasn't a line on it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But I found them.
All right, so we did this out of order. Next Sunday game, Baltimore is at home against Oakland. Baltimore is favored by 6.
Oakland's terrible, and they're only going to get worse. Baltimore played a hell of a game, okay? A hell of a game at Denver. They should have won the game. They threw that pick 6 late with Flacco, whatever. Baltimore goes in there and covers the spread.
All right. So those are McLovein's picks versus the spread. Now we're just going to do straight them up one by one. Who do you think? First game we got Kansas City, Denver. Who do you have in the game?
Kansas City.
All right. I also have Kansas City in this one at home against Denver, a Denver team that looked pretty terrible against Baltimore. Barely won. If it wasn't for Aqib Talib, they would have lost. So there you go. Carolina is at home against Houston. Who do you have?
I have Houston.
All right. This is a tough game. This is going to be a tough game. Carolina barely beat Jacksonville. Okay, by 11. Carolina really didn't have anything to worry about in that game. I figured that they would have beaten Jacksonville by a little bit more than 11. They didn't. They were at home, right? Or was Jacksonville at home last week?
Jacksonville was at home.
All right, so Carolina's at home. It's their home opener against Houston. Houston has Ryan Mallett now as their starting quarterback. Even though Houston's defense is pretty good, I see Carolina winning this. All right, so we got P, we got A. You had Houston. I have Carolina in a tough game, probably by 6 points, 3 or 6 points, by 2 field goals. New Orleans is at home against Tampa. Who do you have?
New Orleans.
I also have New Orleans, pretty easy.
Yep.
Pittsburgh at home against San Francisco. Who do you have?
Pittsburgh's going to win that game.
Okay, I also agree. Pittsburgh's offense looked pretty good, especially against our defense, even though our defense is a pile of shit. San Francisco doesn't really have the... I mean, they barely scored 20 against... If it wasn't for Carlos Hyde, Minnesota probably... Carolina... San Francisco still would have won, but it would have been like 6-3 instead of 20-3.
Yeah, and San Francisco's going to give them all they can... I mean, I know the head coach. I know they're not going to be flat. They're not going to get blown out. Like we said before, I'm taking the Niners plus the points, but I think Pittsburgh's going to win the game out.
I believe that as well, so we both had Pittsburgh there. Minnesota at home against Detroit. Who do you have?
I took Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit as well in that one. Minnesota, even though I picked them last week to beat San Francisco. I did not know Adrian Peterson was going to shit the bed like he did.
Well, he didn't get enough carry. He only got 11 carries.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Okay.
He only got 4 carries in the first yard. The first half. I mean,
that was it.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Buffalo, New England. This is really tough for me. Who do you have winning?
New England.
New England.
Yep.
I hate betting against my own teams. I hate doing it, even if it's for money, because the good news is if I win, I get money, but my team loses. The bad news is if I lose money in, So, but if I have to for the show, oh boy, I think it's going to be a very, 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 very close game. One of two things happens in this game. Buffalo destroys New England.
No.
Listen to what I'm going to say. Buffalo destroys New England by 2 touchdowns, or New England wins by like 5.
I think the latter. Like I said, Tyrod Taylor had a phenomenal game. The chances of him having the same game against New England, a week of Bill Belichick preparing how to shut down this rookie quarter, it's going to be a good game. But I think New England, like I said, has the better team, and they have the better quarterback. If it comes down to a pick-em, take the team with the better quarterback. Because Tyrod Taylor's only going to lose you the game. He's not going to win you the game. Tom Brady will win you the game.
All right, so we both have New England there. Next up, Chicago's at home against Arizona. Who do you have?
Arizona.
Okay, you have Arizona. Chicago put up decent points against Green Bay. I think Green Bay's defense is a little bit better than Arizona's, but not by much.
No,
Arizona's is definitely better.
Oh, yeah, a lot better. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pick Arizona there. Cleveland against Tennessee. Who do you have?
Tennessee.
That's an easy one. Stupid me picking Cleveland last week. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think the Jets would be as good as they did, though.
No, that's true. I agree.
Cincinnati's at home against San Diego. Who do you have?
Cincinnati.
All right, I'm going to pick San Diego. Yeah, they raped Oakland, but it's Oakland. And San Diego, I think they finally got into a rhythm and battled back from a 21-point deficit with 2 quarters left to win. It's pretty big.
Absolutely.
What's his face? Phillips there.
Rivers.
Brandon Rivers is going to...
Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers. Let's see. What did I say? Phillips
you
first?
Said Brandon Phillips, yeah.
I'm exhausted, man. Philip Rivers is going to be on a roll, looking to go 2-0, and they have to have a good start to try to make the wild card spot maybe in the AFC. All right, next up we have Washington against St. Louis. Who do you have?
St. Louis.
I also have St. Louis. I thought Kirk Cousins last week was going to be a lot better than he was. I did not expect that production.
Well, if you were listening to me, Andy.
Yeah, well, I held my own, 10-6, just like you.
I know.
with the immortal McLovein here, I tied him. So did what's his face? Steve Goldman. Yeah. All right, so I have St. Louis in this one. St. Louis looked really, really good. And it goes back to who's going to have a better team this year, St. Louis or Philly, with quarterbacks at the helm.
Philly.
I think St. Louis. I think St. Louis is going to have a much better... I think St. Louis is going to finish better than Philly does. I guarantee it right here.
Well, the thing with then you have to incorporate a lot of variables.
Well, I get it.
I think
with divisional play and all that stuff. I think
Philly's definitely gonna make the playoffs.
I think Foles is gonna have better stats than Bradford does at the end of the year.
Okay, I'll take that. Okay.
Next up, we have Giants at home against Atlanta. Who do you have?
Atlanta.
I also have Atlanta. Odell Beckham didn't look like the real Odell Beckham that we've seen. I know he was injured in a couple of plays in that game here and there, but they played Dallas.
He's their only weapon.
Yeah,
they
got Rashad Jennings, who doesn't score.
Yeah, and also Dallas handed them 13 points. They just said, "Here, take the football and put it in the end zone. There's 10 points for you." So, yes.
Yeah, I'm picking Atlanta in that one as well. Then you got Jacksonville, Miami. Who do you have?
Miami.
Yeah, I have Miami too. I think you learned your lesson of picking Jacksonville last week. 9 points. They basically took like a little dump. Not a big one. And they're not going to do that against Miami's defense. So Miami's going to win that easily by, like you said, 7 or 10. I think more likely 10 or more. Philly, Dallas. Who do you have?
Philly.
Whew. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Philly in this one because Des Bryant's out for Dallas.
Yep.
It's going to be a close game, though.
Philly's at home.
It's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a hell of it. It's going to be an NFC East battle.
Yeah,
and that's what they all did. They just fucking battle.
Green Bay against Seattle in the Sunday night game. Who do you have?
Green Bay.
I'm going to go with Seattle with an upset on the road. Not really an upset, but spread-wise, it's an upset. I don't think everybody in that Seattle locker room. Cam Chancellor's still out, correct?
Yeah.
So see, I didn't realize that when I picked Seattle to beat St. Louis last week. If I had known Cam Chancellor was out, I might have gone with St. Louis. And you can tell me, yeah, right. No, I might have.
Okay.
You're full of shit. Yeah, he's right. I'm full of shit. The deal here, though, is Seattle versus Green Bay. I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. In Lambeau, I get it's Lambeau, but it's not fucking November in Lambeau. It's September.
Lambeau's Lambeau. Rogers is Rogers. That's all you need to know.
That's all I need to know.
Discount double check.
Discount double check. So McLoveин's got P-Bone here.
P-Bone.
Has got
Pat Daddy.
You got Green Bay, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I got Seattle in this one. And then Monday night game, Indy Jets. Indy Jets. So you have Indy?
Oh yeah.
You have Indy.
Yes.
At home against the Jets.
To win the game, yes.
To win the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Indy as well.
And then
Patrick's not going to beat Indy at home. And then Baltimore, Oakland, who do you have?
Baltimore.
Yeah, I got to go with Baltimore. Oakland's just terrible. So, of our picks, the only ones that differ, me and you, Houston, Carolina. Mm-hmm. You have Houston, I have Carolina. You have Cincy, I have San Diego. Yeah. So there's one there. There's one there. You have
Green Bay.
I have Seattle, and that's it. 3 games differ this week. We'll see. We're both 10-6, so one of us is going to be ahead next week. See? So that's it. That is Fantasy Football Week number 2 with McLovein talking about football, and everything that goes along with football.
Now I'm going to give you 2 things real quick. The difference between good teams in the NFL and average teams, okay? 2 things, that's all you have to do to win football games, okay? You have to win your home games, win your division home games, and not turn the ball over. That's it. If you look through all the teams that make the playoffs, they're all plus 16, plus 17, plus 18 on the turnover ratio. If you see your team fumbleia, okay, you're not going to be in the playoffs because if you turn the ball over, it's like giving them free points, okay? Once again, guys, email me, okay? You can call me a piece of shit, whatever. I've been called worse, okay? But I'm here to help you because I know bottom line we're all trying to, do is win and make money. That's all I do. I don't know about you guys. You guys sit there and you clown around in the comment section. But if you want to win money, just let me know. I'm here to help you out. So. All
right, so what's your email address one more time?
McLovein, McLovein 73323 at mail.com.
All right, email him for all of your fantasy football questions for next week. We will answer them on the show. Do not answer, obviously. Just make sure, guys, that you email him. If it's something about gambling and things like that, who should I pick, blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. But fantasy football questions we'll answer for next week. And we'll do that for next week on next week's show. Also, comment only on this video. Only on this one. Not on another one. Not on the one you feel like commenting on. Comment on this one. Steve Goldman, hopefully you remember to pick this week. Otherwise, you're disqualified and the whole thing is fucked up. But Steve Goldman's held in his own 10-6 with McLovein and Andy. We're all three of us are 10-6.
And I'm going to throw out a challenge to, what was his name? Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Okay. Gas in the tank, whatever rhyme and reason you have. I'm calling you out. Okay? So if you think you're better than me, let's go. Let's do it. You know, put your picks up there. I'll put my picks up there. Let's see who's the real tout or who is just, you know, blah, blah, blah. McLovein, fuck you, okay? I'm calling you out. You can do whatever you want. You can piss and moan. You can cry like a little baby. Or you can come and be a man and step up.
So there's a challenge out there for Money in the Bank. Remember, there will be no Scratch Ticket Thursday tomorrow. I'm on vacation. I'm also on vacation next week, so there will be no Scratch Ticket Thursday next week either. Friday, I will be in Brooklyn for City of Mercy, a screening in Brooklyn at Videology in Brooklyn. So check that out if you want. Message me on this if you want to come to it, if you're in the area. I'll let you guys in. And we'll see you next week here on Fantasy Football with McLovein. Peace out, biatch.
See ya.